Yo sé que todo el mundo quería ver yo montando un motor rotativo y es más fácil con otra persona que por lo menos es un profesional de youtuber. Así que ahora sí estamos montándolo con ayuda, porque yo sé que yo solo es difícil porque no me puedo concentrar mucho. Y ese es el problema, que a veces no me puedo concentrar y yo quiero estar al 100% aquí. Así que, aunque tengo ayuda ahora, voy a hacer esto 2 veces para asegurarme que lo voy a hacer bien para que no se explote el motor. Así que vamos a educar la competencia, que se chave.
What is up, RAD Potential YouTube? I'm Mr. RAD, and we're not in the RAD workshop. We're here with Mr. Vlad building the hybrid Renesis engine. And I'm super stoked. We're out here in North Carolina, which is a long way from Southern Indiana. But wanted to get together with fellow content creator.
Yeah.
Facebook and TikTok, a little bit different than YouTube, and I'm not in the areas he's in, but I really appreciate him coming out here. So, you excited for today?
Heck yes. It's almost been a dream.
And I know we were talking earlier getting breakfast, but this is probably one of the few RX8 engines you've done, right?
Actually be the first one.
Okay, and definitely the first hybrid engine I think you've done.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh,
so,
yeah.
Bringing a bunch of firsts here.
Yeah.
The main point that I want to do in this video is I want to learn how somebody else builds a rotary engine. You know, we all do the same thing. Yeah. We all do it very differently in some cases. And I'm just excited to see, kind of your way of doing it. So we're going to kind of follow along with Vlad as we go through and build this thing. And there's a few little nuances that we'll show you along the way, and we can kind of start with the front iron here. So one of the things that I think is common that you do is blocking off the oil passages and whatnot here. So if you kind of want to explain the reason for doing that, and kind of, I know we talked about it, but why I'm doing it.
I like mostly for safety, let's say, safety, right? In case that rotor on the vibration hits here and it cracks that, we don't want oil to be going all over the place and then the car sliding and next thing you're spinning all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. But because it doesn't add any horsepower. So what we like to do is, like I like to do in specific, is we'll remove the plug sometimes, and like if it's a T2 engine, it's already unplugged, but I will tap this to about down here. I will put a set screw and then I'll fill it up with JB Weld. That way, no oil is going to go. It's not going to come up when we drill this in here, and it's not going to go anywhere else. The rear iron also will be plugged up also. So like I like to do the same thing here. I will drill it out, tap that. That way, when the oil comes here, it's not going to come through to the front. So that way, we're eliminating the front and the rear, and then now whenever we set the side one, we're ready to go. We're locked and loaded.
Rad.
Yeah.
So the reason we're doing that on this engine is I've talked with Kyle Mohan and Ernie at Phalanx, and a lot of these front irons, the RX8s kind of have like a little bit weaker of a casting. Yeah. So we're not going to strengthen this engine for the sake of like putting dowels and bigger studs and all that in it. But we do want to just eliminate that when this cracks, I don't have an oil leak spraying out the side of my block. So it's kind of a balance of, like at home you could do this, drill and tap your motor, block the plate off. We're going to externally feed oil into the front stationary gear bearing. From the outside we'll run a line back and whatnot, which you'll see, in a future video. But that's the main reason for kind of, blocking that stuff off and just keeping it a little bit safer, still using stock dowels and whatnot. Other than that, it's literally just a normal rotary engine build. All the side seals are clearance. There's an extra oil control ring, and it's just like an REW to some extent.
That scraper, right? So this will be fun.
Cool. Are there anything like as far as RX8 stuff that you're excited to learn about with it?
I'm really excited. Well, Gabe too, because Gabe he actually recently got his RX8, and we've been talking about getting it going. So that one, the engine was blown. And he went to South Carolina, picked up an engine for $500, brought it back on another weekend. He just threw it in there, and it turnkey turns on. So now we have an extra engine on the side that we're going to mess with. You know what I'm saying? Tear it down and do. So we want to, definitely want to learn about the Renesis, because the Puerto Ricans don't really do much of the Renesis. So it'll be a whole different world.
Yeah, and I guess that's something at the very beginning kind of skipped over a little bit. But what's your background with all this stuff? How long have you been working on rotaries?
Oh man, I've been working on rotaries since as a kid. I've always been like enthralled with the rotary engines. It's my thing. And then once we, in the teenage years, when I was in Puerto Rico, started learning about them. And then from there, it just evolved into, man, so I'm 46. Well, I'll be 47 this month. So, man, 30-something years has been my life.
Yeah.
And I love it. I think that sometimes they obsess about it a little bit. There's a saying, they're saying that if you, what is it, people call it crazy if you obsess over some things, right? It's a terminology of insanity. Yeah. There's some insaneness going on here. Yeah. So, I mean, we talked about the meticulousness about things of us. You know, I have bags, sandwich bags of just parts of engines, every single engine they tear apart, right? You know, because I'll sit there, I'll be here an hour sometimes measuring stuff, looking at wear patterns, and because we got to try and evolve and learn, and you know. But my whole life has been the rotary stuff, man. Yeah. It's my passion. I love it. I sleep, dream. This is it. So my whole life, and but mostly, I like street cars, right? But the past few years, the Puerto Rican counterparts have pulled me over to the drag side, and they want me to build drag, and it's like to me a rotary engine, like it's not just it's my build, right? It's my baby, right? So when I'm working on an engine, that's my baby. So I want it to last long. When you come to the drag world, it's not gonna last long. It's meant to break, you know what I'm saying? So it's a heartbreak to me to see my engine go into failure. But you know, it's part of the game. So I'm involved in that. I put together recently a all motor, full peripheral 13B rotor starlet, and she put 309 to the wheels. NA runs 10.2 right now, a quarter. And we're inching for 9.8. We still got to get some tweaks into it. But yeah, man, this is what we eat, live, and breathe. Me and Gabe, and I got my neighbor here also. So yeah, this is what we do, man. Yeah.
The crazy thing is like he's been working on rotaries for 30 years. That's longer than I've been alive, guys. So not to make it feel old,
I like it.
I'm just stoked to be around and learn, and you know, I have no idea really like what all is going to be in this video, but I'm just excited to learn about building engines. You know, so be excited to be a fly on the wall in the shop.
So we'll both be learning, right? We'll both be learning something, right? And I think that's growth, right? It doesn't matter if it's one thing you learn something different, man. That's still growth moving forward. So, and if the mostly like a lot of the content that I do on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, my main goal was like when I was growing up in Puerto Rico, everything's secretive when it comes to rotaries. No one says anything unless you're in the club. You're not going to know anything. So I made it to where when I got older, I was like, man, I wish I had someone that took me under the wing and showed me about apex seals and side seals and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start teaching people. And let me put it online. And it was just for the fun, and it sort of just blew up. And here I am now. So it's all for fun, for the love of it, man. Because I feel like if I teach the younger generation, it's only going to get better. For sure. Like it's only going to get better. You know what I'm saying? Because there's new technologies. Matter of fact, Gabe one time helped me out. So everyone knows that to get this thing out of here, right? It's a pain, right? And man, everyone's tried the trick with you put the 10 mil thing on, then you weld it in, and you pull it out, right? And just out of the blue, he's like, I think I got something for that. And we used the stud welder, right? It was like, I've always battled with this crap. Everyone battles with this, you know? And man, he brought that thing out, it was like, boom, and it was like, oh,
so it's like a body stud welder.
Yeah, the body stud, Okay. So that right there, man, it took a painful 15, 20 minutes, sometimes 30-minute job of cussing, right? And turn it into literally, and it was like, golly. So young people have better tools.
See things differently.
And it helps out with everything, man. That was like I made that video, and people were like, oh my gosh. It did really well because of the young generation, man. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I love seeing this, though. I didn't see this earlier, but I do it the same way.
Yeah.
Oh, you got like a sexy machined one in here. Mine's just a stock one that's been cut off. But cutting sides.
That's sexy because Michael did it from Rotary Science. He did it for me. I love the guy. So he went ahead and cut it for me, and I was like, Michael, I need. He's always there. Michael, I need this. I got you. Boom, there it is.
It's cool. Most people don't ever see the inside of rotors, but like, you know, you see these getting caved in and stuff. They're actually really thin. the castings of them. There's not a lot of strength on the faces of these, which is cool.
Yeah, recently I did one and I cut it
Oh, nice.
long-wise, just so that people can see. I don't know where that rotor went, somewhere around here. But yeah, just so that people can see everything, how the oil gets in there, and you know, it was made for the purpose of just teaching people. And I still keep all my little stuff around because you never know who's, you know, you can learn, and you know, my props, right? So you gotta have props. So keep the props
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So where do you want to start on this? I guess with that front iron, we'll get that drilling and stuff done so we can re-clean it. Yeah. And then kind of lay everything out, and we'll start with all your little tips and tricks for stacking the motor up.
Yeah, full set. Yeah, that's yours. We're gluing together for measuring them. Okay. So I like to use this. I'll grab my feeler gauge. Because a lot of times you'll see, like, you know, the uneven wear pair. If they fucking warp, they bend, you'll see it. You'll see all right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's rad. Check this thing out. It's like a little billet piece. Also my new Apex seal filer from the last video, but hell yeah. Thank you.
I got files if you need them up there. Whatever you need.
So like, would you typically, I know we talked at breakfast, would you like you file Apex seals down, you just like do it by hand?
I do it by hand, yeah.
See how this has that little like groove in it?
Yo, I like that.
It's like rounded, and then there's like a flatter one and then different size.
Where'd you get that at?
Amazon, $40. It's that fret filer thing.
For guitars?
Yeah, for guitars. Now, I'm not sure how flat it is, like if, you know, it's Amazon machine tool quality, like if it's bent or whatever, but I mean, you know, like light pressure, you're probably in there doing it by hand anyways. I feel like this is a little bit more
precise.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's awesome.
We'll find out after this engine gets put together. We run it, right? Getting these front hub bolts out. That's why this is broke. From me, like full on jack handle, trying to get the hub bolt off with a flywheel brake on the engine stand, and I was pulling. You know, you got the engine on the stand and it's mounted on this side, and I was pushing down on it because you got all the leverage, right? But on the 8s, like, unless you re-drill your engine stand, this bolt doesn't line up, the top bolt. So you're only holding it by these two. And it's just so much torque. I ripped the engine off the engine stand twice.
Holy crap.
So I welded tabs on it, so now I can hit all 3 of these bolts down here, you know, on my engine mount. And now I lift up across the engine mount. So it cancels out, as my engineer brain, right? It cancels out a foot of the leverage on the engine stand, even though I still get the same amount of leverage on the bolt. Yeah. Right? So then I haven't ripped them off the stand anymore.
Engineering. Oh, that's funny.
It's intimidated by the camera. That's what it is.
I'm intimidated by the camera.
Right?
Boom!
Nice. Sweet. So the oil passage on the front of these guys, like the oil comes up from the rear through the dowels, hits this little ball right here, goes down, then comes into the front stationary gear bearing. So you can see the casting here and here. So we're basically going to plug this vertical feed oil in right here so it'll go straight to the bearing from the outside.
Yep, that's exactly what we're doing. What he said, everything he said, just like that.
Mr. Advertisement here with a quick shameless plug for radpotentialracing.com, where you can get rotary engine organizer trays. These things keep all of your apex seals, side seals, corner seals nice, neat, organized. It's labeled. This is a pre-production prototype. I promise the ones on the website look way cooler, just like the one you saw on Vlad's workbench there. In addition, rotor engine assembly stands for packing rotors on the workbench so that your seals don't touch your dirty workbench. And t-shirts, stickers. The website is a great way to support the channel. In addition to, go check out the Patreon if you want to see, you know, what's going on with this thing right here, which is like miniature rotary status. Back to the video.
I like direct flow of things, right? Yep, so that straight line, right? That line's coming in straight there instead of having to go here, there, and there. Yep. You know what I'm saying? That's my
and like thing. Too. I mean, this is the hot side of the engine, right? So you know, feeding a straight line through, it's going to spend less time here. So the oil to the bearing should be a little bit colder.
A little bit colder.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Just because it's a shorter distance, straighter. It's not spending as much time here.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah. You wouldn't believe, dude. I ran the second day of Oregon Trail Rally, no oil cooler.
How hot did that thing? Did you have a sensor on it?
I didn't have a oil temperature sensor on it. It still made oil pressure though, so I was like, all right, we're good. But you know, cool temps are okay. It was probably like 300 degrees. You know, it was VR1. It was a little thin after that day.
What's
2050?
2050.
It was a little thin. Felt like 1030 after that day. You know,
you pour it out, it just came out.
Usually, you know, you pull your dipstick out and nothing drips off when you're in 2050. It was running off after the end of the day. But we survived. No metal in the pan.
Let me see.
In it without it.
You'll put some. Oh man, you're so strong, dude. Golly, you're all muscle.
Try. All right, this is something that I don't do. So what are we doing here?
We're going to polish the inside of the bearing.
Okay. And that's just adding a little bit of clearance?
Yeah, it adds a little bit of clearance.
Okay.
And I like it. A lot of people, you know, they say that they don't want to use new bearings because they feel like the bearing's gonna spin,
They're
right?
too tight.
They're too
Yeah.
tight. They're gonna spin out, and then this is a way for me to remove that little bit of clearance out of it. And I've never had a bearing spin out.
Okay.
So
Yeah. That's rad.
Yeah.
Speed,
Oh, yeah.
Speed up your speed then.
Heck, now we're cooking. Yeah. The information's out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of, you got to go look for it, you know what I'm saying? If you look up the old, from like the 80s, Racing Beat, the manual for the parts manual, this is in there.
Oh yeah.
It's in there.
Like polishing bearings is?
Yeah, it's in there. And they even go as far as like saying you can sand them down a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to sand them down, but I rather I feel like the sanding down will be a lot more unbalanced than this.
I've seen some guys, not so much on rotaries, but use like a mini hone on a bearing.
Yeah.
Right? And like take just a couple thou off with like a tiny little finger hone, the
Yep.
spring-loaded one.
Same thing.
So
Yeah. I prefer this method. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I mean that's probably taking off what, half a thou?
Yeah,
maybe?
if that.
If that.
Yeah, and it's enough that as the engine's getting braking, because the real braking is really with the bearings.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The apex seals, there's a spring. So there's going to be give. Side seal, there's a spring. There's going to be give. Corner seal, same thing.
Yep.
Bearings, ain't no springs, baby.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So the best thing to do is remove that little bit of material. And, you know, I forgot Babbitt material, I think they call it. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, people.
I always try to, it's not that you have to do it right or wrong. Just doing it is like the most part for me that I like to inspire people of, right? It's like, just get out and try it.
Just do it.
Yeah, just go do it.
Just
like
go
you're
do it.
going to find out real quick if you're messing it up or if it's going to work. And you might, you know, have to spend some extra money if you mess it up or whatever, right? But like at the same time, paralysis by analysis. If you sit here and think about it for too long, it's never going to get done.
It's never going to get done. You just got to jump, man.
Figure it out.
You know, stressful. Yeah, a little bit stressful, right? But at the same time, one of the most critical things, you know, like, because a lot of people, like, I've seen people that like actually force them in there and they go in all sideways. Oh, it'll catch, and then later, boom, and it's like, man.
Yeah, for me, like the first 3 pumps of that is the most important.
Yep.
You know, and just well-calibrated eye chrometering, getting it as straight as you possibly can. And, you know, we all have Harbor Freight presses, so there's a little bit of play in these things, right? No one's out here spending $700 on a press, and you could buy one for $180, you know? So everything kind of wiggles.
Thank you, Harbor Freight.
But
I always like for them to be nice and perfectly flush. Like, yeah.
Rad. Perfect on the set screw. So you normally don't even put these in here?
No. Nope.
Should we do it that way? Should we just leave these out? We'll just leave them out.
We could put them in for your safety. It's your engine.
I don't really care.
But
I'm here to test it out. We got polished bearings. They're not going to spin.
They ain't gonna spin. I'll put money on that.
Red. Sweet. Look at that. Perfect.
Perfect.
I do like that polished. That just looks so much more conducive to like.
The engineer brake kicks in, right?
Yeah. Well, and like the only break-in as miles I ever tell people is if I put bearings in.
That's right.
It. If not, I'm like, rip it. It's fine. You know, change the oil after 500 miles so you get all the assembly crap out of it and like rip it. You know.
That right there, man.
So it's the old 2-stroke dirt biker in me. It's gonna break if I was babying it or if I was ripping on it. So might as well rip on it, you know.
I mean, you came here to learn, right? Learn something, right? Even if everything's failed, you boom, you got something in your toolbox now.
The thing that's interesting, though, this will be an interesting thought for the guys in the comments. I know you're behind the camera now, but rotary engines have been around for what, 50 years? 60 years, maybe?
Yeah, since the 60s, yeah.
And only one manufacturer has worked on them, right? Generally Mazda, okay? That's it for development on the rotary engine. So we always compare them to like a small block Chevy or a piston engine.
Yep.
Now think about this, a piston engine came out in what, 1890 something?
Golly.
And then how many different manufacturers of piston engines are there? Hundreds.
Hundreds.
So now take that combined man hours of development into a piston engine. It's like the rotary engine is like a test engine still.
Yeah.
Like it has not been at all ran close to what an LS amount of development
Nope.
is, or anything close to it.
No,
So you can't even compare it. You know?
I think just now, the past maybe 10 years, you know, like I think the Australians have helped out a lot with that. I mean, tremendous. What they've done for the rotary engine is insane. I mean, from billet plates to making billet rotors and billet, you know, everything, you know what I'm saying? So I think we've come a long way, and I think we're moving at a good pace at this point.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're behind the power curve, but we're moving at a good pace from where we were at 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I think that even the ECUs are being able to get better programming to the engine. So, yeah, I think we're in it, and
catching up a little bit.
We're catching up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And the hybrid's going to do a major, it's going to be the missing link
for
the 5 seconds.
Everybody's going to build these.
For the 5 seconds. Quarter mile.
Yeah, maybe. If we put solid steel bars around every tension bolt so it doesn't crack apart, and like weld a plate on the side so it doesn't flex. Oh, yeah.
There she goes. That's it.
So it's to here?
Yep.
About height-wise?
Pull it up. Go ahead. I'll let you do it.
So the set screw's about that far down. And then here's that passage there. So it's like a little bit of an inch, but that's good.
Yep.
Nice. Oh,
yeah!
That's going to be fun.
Oh, man, you kidding me? This will come right out, baby. Shoot. We needed a challenge up in here. Everything's working too easily.
Yeah. Needing those pliers, it'll probably come right out. I think it wiggles a little bit.
Yeah. Too easy, baby.
I think it's most of it. Yeah. Yeah, there's a little burr down in there.
Is it? Man.
You probably pick it out with just a file or a pick or something.
We got some of that.
Hey, you know, nothing ever goes perfect.
No,
even when you've got two guys who are acclaimed experts at building engines, everybody still messes stuff up.
Yeah.
You just gotta learn and keep pushing through.
Keep pushing through, baby. Keep pushing through.
Yeah, that'll be rad. Yeah. Nice. Perfect.
Yeah. I might need to put a little more thread, like a little more.
Oh, so it goes down, doesn't hit where the dowel's at?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I look out and it doesn't. I think we'll be all right. Yep, we're good. Yep, put it in there one more time. Shoot ya.
Nice. Yeah, because I guess there probably is a little space.
And there's like a, well, it just sits perfectly, almost perfectly inside there.
Yeah.
And I don't like to. I've seen people shave that off some, and I don't like to shave it. And I've seen some people actually cut it, like drill it out, and I won't do that because I had an engine recently that I opened up where doing that actually weakened that and it cracked it.
And it was bent?
Yeah, it was like split open, like cracked open.
Okay. Well, these are pretty brittle because I've dropped one of these before and nicked the chip, like chipped a corner off of it on the concrete. That makes sense? Like you break the edge of this off, you drop it on concrete. So.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Look at that. The good thing is that this sets pretty quick, and we can still keep on going with the, like stacking the engine, even though so that doesn't affect anything. Wait, are these 19?
Yeah, at least doing this, we ain't trying to break a hub bolt loose, you know. So.
Yeah. Hey Eric, you said these were ready to go. You lied.
Were they dirty?
They're dirty as crap, man. Holy crap. We'll get you right though. We can't assemble
Some
this
carbon
like
in
that.
there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, these came right out of my running hybrid engine, so.
Oh my god. Oh my god. We're about to break out the brake cleaner here in a minute, but I want to soften this up.
Cleaning the grooves out's hard. I always tell you, that's like the hardest. Most people overlook it, and then you get stuck seals.
Yeah, this is the most critical part on an engine build, any engine build. This is it. This is it. I'll spend like a whole day sometimes on a rotor.
Oh yeah, I don't do a whole day,
and,
a few hours at least.
Oh,
as you can tell.
Yeah, I can tell. The proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, if you got another side seal, I'll get to cleaning up this one.
Yeah.
I'll make sure.
Yeah. We got plenty of them. See, the funny thing is like when you're at the racetrack, this is the part where like you can't really like get in there when you're because we'll break an engine and we're tearing it apart immediately, because we're trying to get to the next round.
Yep.
And you can't really 100% get everything perfectly clean, man. But you are inhaling some brake cleaner up the yin yang.
Oh yeah. Well, we did my brown Recluse engine. It just needed coolant seals, and we did that in 3.5 hours, from running car to running car. So like, engine out, tore down on a stand in about an hour, and then clean everything, put it back, and it was dirty. The engine was dirty. It had been together for a while.
You're lucky I like you.
Well, it's for my own car, so I don't feel as obligated to make my own car super, super crazy perfect when it's the hybrid Renaissance, probably going to blow up, like, you know what I mean? It's untested, uncharted territory. Versus, like, anytime that I build an engine for somebody, like, it's like,
pristine.
Like you said, it's perfect, You can take a picture of those rotors, put them next to a brand new one, you know what I mean? And it's just the attention to detail. Now, if it's like, the RAD7 engine where I need it to perform and make power, then yes, that one gets put together perfectly.
Yeah.
Not that I don't have passion for this hybrid Renaissance project, but it's, we're testing.
Yeah.
Not building an engine for forever.
So I love using toothpicks for this too. I'll have like toothpicks, and that's for engines.
Yep.
That's not for that's actually for getting in there, because like you can get into nice little crevices.
Yep.
And I get super anal retentive with this.
And they're softer than
they're soft, So there's no scratching, and I can get almost everything out of there. And then 3 hours later, when I got here from Virginia, I made that video of, hey guys, I messed up. And they're like, man, we all were like, what? It was like, man, if I mess up, I'm gonna tell you, man, because I don't want you to mess up. That's the part of it.
Yeah, I always tell people, like, let me spend money first. I'll figure it out, and then you guys know how not to spend money.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a major thing, and it is what it is. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time.
Yeah.
All right. I think that these are going to be acceptable.
Perfect.
Under the terms.
All right, we've got another fancy tool I've never seen before.
So this is my file that I got from, I forgot the place called in Australia.
Okay.
Because they come, Extreme Rotaries in Australia.
Okay.
And I use it to, a lot of times the rotors will get like a small edge here.
Yeah.
So I like to make sure that I clean that really well inside, right? This helps with that, and also remove some of that edge in there also. That way it's nice and filed off. Yeah.
Nice. And it feels like it's pretty close to 2 mil.
Yep.
So as long as this fits through there, you can wiggle it a little bit to clean it up and call it a day.
So they have an updated one that actually has like for a 12A and a 13B.
Okay. So 3 mil and 2
Yeah,
mil.
3 mil, 2 mil. So
Nice.
this one, this is an older generation one.
Nice. I'll have to get one of those. That's
it's very helpful. I like to get in there and clean all that really well. And you can feel like this one. And after this, I'm gonna run. I'll use a file, and I remove that
Take
also.
the sharpness
Yep.
off. Yep. Okay.
So
I usually just do that with sandpaper, and I like break the sandpaper up thick enough to where it fits in there.
Yeah.
And it's long, and you run it back and forth. Not quite as exact as a piece of metal as far as like your pressure, from your fingers or surface or whatever, but I'm not really like pushing that hard. You know what I mean?
I let them
lightly.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just let it go, and like this one now, you can tell this one actually went really, really smooth.
Yeah.
But you can tell it has a little bit more wiggle room.
I forget what the number is, but there is a tolerance for how much wiggle your apex seal can
I
have.
have it written down because I can't remember stuff.
Red.
Yeah. And then once that gets done, I'll grab like the side here, and I'll just file that off right there also. I want to make sure that I'm not going to slice my finger on there.
Yep.
Both sides. One side is always more than the other, obviously, because
Direction of rotation.
Yep.
So it's hard to see, but basically we're talking about this sharp edge right here on the edge of the apex seal groove. And these rotors have been cut for RX-7 apex seals. So it's an RX-8 rotor that would have had the short apex seal. I think they're 4.75 millimeters tall. And then we're going to an RX-7 apex seal, which is 8.4, I think,
Man, don't make me lie.
I just did a video on it showing it, so I'm pretty sure it's 8.4. It's factory spec, but the groove is now 10 millimeters deep instead of like 5.8 or something like that. I don't know. Monster Tricks did the machine work. Thank you, Kyle Mohan and Dave out there.
This was nice. See that corner? Look at this corner right here.
Okay.
It's almost like you can. It slides and it goes right there and it gets nice and tight.
Oh yeah.
So that one, yeah.
Could have been like dropped or hit on something.
Maybe.
In transport.
Maybe, but we're gonna clean them off again real quick, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the actual apex seal is gonna go in there and make sure it's perfect slides how it needs to. So did you clean these all out 100%?
I blew them out with air.
Okay.
But I haven't like chased it with the tap or anything.
Let's chase it real quick.
17 more to go.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. You're confident in it?
Yeah, I've honestly never had any issues getting tension bolts in. Now, whenever I do those studs, I do this.
Yes.
They get real clean.
Yep. Yeah. My thing is like, I want to make sure that they're clean all the way through, so that I get so they all have the same amount of torque into it.
Yep.
You know, because I've had some like, I don't know if you've experienced it. I always notice when you stud an engine, right, and then you put the regular screws in it, right? I always feel like you'll notice that if you put like 26 pounds on the stud, right, and once you get this one to 26, for some reason, it completely throws off the balance to the other one. It's I haven't fully figured out the math on it yet.
Yeah.
But I know that torque-wise, it always throws me off, and I gotta go back and do all of them till they're like 100%.
Yep.
And it just kind of always, it never happens if it's using regular studs.
Yep.
So.
A little bit better clean job than the rotors.
Man, you did so good. You have redeemed yourself with this. Golly. So good. You can eat off these threads.
Heck yeah.
All right. And my front stationary.
And there's a bolt right there to the right by your brake cleaner.
All right, cool.
Nice.
I heard that. Boop.
It's crazy. Sometimes you take these down apart and you just go tap them with your hand, they fly right out.
Yeah.
And then the same one that popped right out easy won't go back in easy. You know what I mean? It's weird.
So this part right here is higher than the rest of here, right? So anytime I look at these, if this is sharp, right, all the way around, this is a good oil control seal, control ring, because this is the scraper that sits on top of there, and it's doing this, it's squeegeeing that oil back into this way, right, back into the actual
the
middle iron,
so
it goes down, So I want this raised up
versus
where you have a lot of like where'd it go?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, yep, there they are.
Versus that where it's very flat.
Yeah, like that's flat, and you can see like the metal on this here is like thick here. That means that it's worn down flat. Okay. As opposed to that one where this part is like razor sharp because it's higher than this part right here. It hasn't been worn out. So that's a big difference from there to there.
Yeah. Learn something new every day. See, I always never really liked the sharp ones, albeit I wouldn't have gravitated towards the one that had a ton of wear down it, like how big the silver ring was compared to the dark. But that makes a lot of sense. Learn something new every day. That's the goal. Assemble goo.
This is my stuff right here.
So is it like a grease or is it like a glue?
It's like a grease.
Okay.
And it comes off immediately on the car. Like all the engines that I do, this is what I use.
Okay. And where can you get it?
Advanced Auto Parts has it.
Okay,
Riley's
sweet.
has it. I order
Parts
from
store?
them.
Okay.
Yeah, Parts Store has it, you know.
Nice.
A lot of guys in PR are using this. This is what they use. So,
Okay.
Because, Vaseline was the go-to. Oh, Vaseline. And then some people use Hylamar.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a couple of back alley rotary guys in PR. They're like, this is it. I'm like, okay. So it works out really good. And I've never had any problem with it.
Brad, we'll
Yeah.
see if it holds these RX8 side seals in, which are pretty pesky.
Oh, I got no doubt. Like, this is like...
Oh, man. That's like Play-Doh.
Yeah, it's great. I love this stuff. So, let me... So, this is going to be this way. That glue catching now.
Mm-hmm.
That glue's
I
gonna
usually like scrape it off with a razor blade.
be kind of funky. I'm going to have to reglue them afterwards.
Just gotta make sure you don't super glue your finger to the apex seal.
Yeah. Done that.
Yep.
Builds
me too.
character.
Where you're like, the
Yeah,
little
you're like-
corner piece can't come
yeah.
off, and then you peel it off, and half your skin comes with it. It's annoying.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll put it almost all the way to the top.
Mm-hmm.
So this is nice and flat. It'll be good.
Right. So we get the apex seals in the rotor instead of trying to drop them down after the fact. I do really like this grease idea over the high tack, because the high tack's kind of messy.
Yeah, this stuff is not it's not bad at all, man.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I've been using it for a little while.
Because like you're only really trying to hold it in there during assembly.
That's it.
You know, like for my logic, the high tack was nice because it also provided some sort of sealing, right? So
Yeah.
it's, you wouldn't fill this with RTV and slap it together because it's
No.
a mess. But like the high tack doesn't really ever harden. It's always a little bit loose in there. But this just is a lot cleaner. High tack, when you get it on your fingers, everything's like
just-
purple and sticky, and you can't touch anything.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is just like sticky grease.
Yeah. Yep. Works out really good. Like,
But my hands aren't purple now, which is nice. May have to change my ways to get me some assembly goo.
yeah, it's cheap.
And I bet that tub's probably a couple years old,
Yep. That tub is at least 3 years old.
Yeah.
All right, we're good now. Nice and flat.
Dowel O-ring.
Down O-ring. Put some in there. Thank you, sir. You're a great American. All right. Boom. See, I'm glad you we're evolving, right?
Yeah.
I learned a little about RX8 stuff.
Yeah.
Your little techniques here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, this is like the bane of my existence, dude. Silicone tubes. They're almost like one-time use.
Oh yeah, and $16.
Yeah, they get you on that.
Man, I'm gonna invest in silicone.
Yeah, I need to be a co-owner of Permatex. Considering I probably buy 20, every engine I build probably gets a new tube of Permatex, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's they get their money's worth. You know what I mean? They get their money's worth.
Yeah, see, I got nice paint on some of my stuff, so I keep those handy. Got a little nick or something on it?
It had some like little rust there, but
Oh, okay.
I'll be all right.
Have like a Brillo pad or something, so I clean it up with like Scotch Brite.
We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Oh yeah, nice. Just some etching.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that I don't know what engine that came out of. Like I said, I got a bunch of stuff.
It's a Frankenstein.
I'm trying to remember what car
Yeah.
it came out of. And I'm like, I don't know. I have so many RX8 E shafts laying around. It's like,
It's a Frankenstein. It'll be all right.
yeah. Well, like my red car engine is a Series 4 Turbo 2 block with a Series 5 rear iron with Series 5 turbo rotors with an RX8 E shaft and an RX8 gears. So it's like it's all the different parts, you know. Have you ever built an engine and put that in backwards before?
Yes.
I have.
Yes.
All the way.
Oh yeah.
Like torqued down and everything.
Yeah. Really?
Right now, and I went to put the flywheel on it, and I'm like, oh, this is an issue. So you know what I'll never do again?
Put it backwards?
Yeah. Every time I put it in there, I'm like, that can go in backwards, and I'm not messing this up.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yep.
So you're just like feeling for anything catching in the bearing? Or?
So I'm letting. This might sound stupid, right? But I'm letting air out of it.
Okay.
So what happens is when we go to stack it, and it's happened a few times, once it's out, you're trying to pull this out.
Yeah.
And for some reason, between, I don't know if it's the grease or whatever you're using in there, it like locks that since you stop, you just like, and then it comes out completely.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that it just has just a little bit of flow.
Okay.
Yeah, happens to us quite often.
Okay.
And you have to make sure, you got to move it to kind of get it to, I don't know if it's the right terminology. All I know is that it happens.
Yeah.
This is that.
Seals.
Yeah, it's like it vacuum seals itself to itself.
Yeah,
And then you're trying to move it, and all of a sudden you're like, God dang it.
Yeah.
The whole thing's out. It's all over. Yep.
Seeing like I use a white lithium grease for a lot of that. It's
Why?
it's a lot thinner than that grease you've got, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, check out our fresh rotary engine stand.
Remember you were saying it was
oh, yeah,
fall
they
out?
are falling out. Nice. I like it.
I got an apex seal out. Go back out. Did it move? It did. Not bad. We're good.
Nice.
Oh, I have the shaft right here.
Don't put it in backwards.
Jeez.
Nice. So you're a front rotor up guy. That's how I do it too.
Yeah, that's number one.
Yep. Point it up.
Yeah.
Oh, you ever see some people, they like point them down, they do all sorts of
Yeah.
weird stuff, you know?
Now, I do know that some people like to, once they have this ready, right, and they have this in here, they will turn this to where it's here towards the intake.
Okay.
Because they swear that it makes it easier to get that middle plate
center
on.
iron on?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it does to a certain degree. So I still do it. Like I'll do it.
Yeah.
Just because of that.
Interesting. I'll have to try that.
So. Yo sé que todo el mundo quería ver yo montando un motor rotativo y es más fácil con otra persona que por lo menos es un profesional de youtuber, así que ahora sí estamos montándolo con ayuda, porque yo sé que yo solo es difícil porque no me puedo concentrar mucho. Y ese es el problema, que a veces no me puedo concentrar y yo quiero estar al 100% aquí. Así que, aunque tengo ayuda ahora, voy a hacer esto 2 veces para asegurarme que lo voy a hacer bien para que no se explote el motor. Así que vamos a educar la competencia, que se chave. It's so weird. The angle trips me out. Like, it really trips me out.
It's just weird because the plane is the same, but it interacts with the corner seal in a different location. And because the side seal isn't a rectangle, the end where you cut it doesn't look like a rectangle. Right? It's like on an angle and stuff, and it just is real weird to look at. Right?
Yeah, it just, like, it jacks me up.
Because I'd totally start doing it this way as well.
Do you? All right, cool.
Like, I normally try to drop them in, but if this is super easy like this, then I'm going to start doing it like this. Okay, so you leave it like propped up like that? What's the reason behind that?
So if I shove it all the way in there, it's going to put pressure this way.
Okay.
So if I leave it out like that, I'm able to put all 3 apex seals in there with the springs, and they're all lined up perfectly. I can just push them in all by one. If not, if I put that one in, then this last one's going to fight me.
Yep, okay. That makes sense. So it's just less spring pressure on the rotor.
Yeah, because the moment you put this in the push, trying to push that rotor a little bit. So.
Do you ever use like an aftermarket spring? There's OEM springs always. Then there you're just like centering up the little spring?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, once I got it pinched in there, I'll center it up, and then that way when I send it, it ain't moving, and it's I want it as equal as possible in there.
And then that way the apex seal isn't getting pushed harder on one side or the other. We talked about that earlier today.
Yep.
Nice.
Takes a little time, you know what I'm saying? But this is the part where this is the fun part, right? You know what I'm saying? This is the part where you make or break it, right?
Yeah.
Are you gonna get 110 on one rotor, one side, and then 90 on the other one? This is it, you know?
All the little things add up.
Yep, all three of them are in place, right? So now I can go ahead and just send them by that last one by the side, by the spring.
1 for 1, 2 for 2.
Ah, I'm gonna.
Just the spring.
That's just the spring right there. And then.
There we go. Perfect. Nice.
A lot easier, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I just like it because you're not like, it's like you're just hoping the whole way. You're like, I hope it didn't turn.
Oh,
Shove it in, and then it doesn't go down. And you're like, okay, go in with a little wiggle, and you're like, wiggle a little bit. And if it doesn't go in, then you're like, all right, well, we're gonna be here for another 20 minutes trying to get this apex seal in. You know?
You're like, I gotta stay off the coffee. I'm shaky. I'm too shaky. I'm too shaky. You know? So yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll try it for sure. It's just interesting. Like, you know, Charles showed me how to do it. So we always did it like that. Because you're never able to like hold them all in there while you're putting housing on with the springs on it, you know what I mean? So like, then I would see people doing it with rubber bands, and I'm assuming they have all the apex seal springs in there, and it's holding it all together, and then they slide the housing down, like snip the rubber band and pull those out. So I tried it that way once, and it messed up the coolant seal when I was pulling the rubber bands out. So I'm like, oh, that's a pain in the butt, you know? It's probably because my high tack's too sticky, you know, like the rubber band got stuck in the high tack and just messed everything up.
I'm gonna have to clean this up a little bit more.
Super glue still on it?
Yeah.
Have you seen, like, when Mazda builds them, they, like, clamp these together. It's so cool. And they build them sideways.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's wow.
And they have big clamps. That's why these tabs are on the housings.
Oh.
Because they're clamping the engines together as they build them. So when they put a piece on, it gets clamped down. And then they put center iron on it, it gets clamped down. And then they...
Nothing moving.
Nothing moving.
Good?
Yeah.
Good?
No silver out.
All right, we're going down a little bit.
Yeah.
Time for easy?
No silver down.
All right, go down, we're going down.
Down.
Yep.
Yeah. Down.
You down?
I don't think it's forward down.
Good? You good? You down?
Nice.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
Don't say that.
I need 2 extra hands. That's what I need.
You can take Gabe with you.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't function without him.
Yeah.
I can't function without him.
To the back. I used to machine Here we go. 4 for 4. 5 for 5. 6 for 6. That's what we like to see right there.
Let me make sure it sits flush on it. So let me put it back in here.
Okay. Just to test fit the rear
yeah.
iron. Yep.
That's why I waited till the last minute.
Okay.
In case
Do you
we
ever worry about like it fitting when you sit it on there, but not when you torque it down?
No, once
Yeah.
it's on there sitting all the way flush,
Okay.
I ain't worried about it.
I think there should be plenty of room.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it is. Like this one actually looks deeper than
What
that
that
right
sticks
there.
out,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're about to learn today. I haven't put the corner pieces to the apex seals either, so
Okay.
let's see.
Oh yeah.
Money.
Yeah, that's good.
Money. Let me see if the sights is coming with it now.
Nah, no grease
Man.
on them. Could you drop it?
Oh yeah.
Where did it drop into the coolant?
This one?
Hold
You
up.
got a tiny magnet.
You got stuck on my finger. It's somewhere in here. Check on the floor, Gabe, in case it went to the floor.
Oh, I see it. Tension bolt hole right here. It's gonna be the easiest one to retrieve because it's an intention bolt hole.
Wait, you see it?
Yeah, it's right here. This hole. Stick a magnet in that hole right
How do
there.
you see it, bro?
It's down there. See it?
Do you have
I don't see shit.
It's in there. I promise you. There's one. There's a magnet that small. I saw it sitting somewhere.
This is the magnet I have here. This is not small.
Big magnet.
Okay, I can.
It'll go.
That'll go.
Yeah.
Let's nut wax it then.
Don't drop it. Don't drop it. No.
There's that one right there. Yeah, looks like a first gen pull rod for the handle.
Golly, you're so good, dude.
Nailed it.
What?
It would have been
Man.
way worse if it went in the coolant passage though, because like the coolant passage is like operation. It has
goes.
Yeah, it has
Yeah.
caves and stuff. So if you touch the edge, it fall off. You know,
Trust me, I've had to unstack one.
unstack one. 'cause of
Yeah,
that.
and I don't want to do that today.
See, now I
You know.
found engines that had those in there and were still assembled. They just grabbed an extra corner and put it back together.
I got extra corners.
Yeah.
We would have. Oh man. Whew.
That's funny.
Golly. Almost at the end too, you know.
Oh yeah, this is the worst time to drop it in there because it could go all just like that. It went all the way to the front.
Would've been bad.
But the tension bolt hole was the best hole for it to went in. We need a super glue. You're afraid to take your hand
No,
off
just
of it?
the goo.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep it in mind.
Yeah.
Time to drop one.
Yeah, that goo.
Yeah. Well, and I
you
think
go.
they make a magnet that's real tiny, like diameter wise, like your antenna.
Man.
You know, that sticks up.
That's why you picked up that brake thing. That's what it's for.
Yep.
Yep. Finishing tuning.
All right, we got to do my customary. Be good, little buddy. Hopefully, we don't see you for a while. That's what I normally say.
Yeah, pórtate bien, no te rompa.
Yeah.
And now the money. Yep.
Nice.
Ew, too easy, baby.
Look at that. Hybrid 5, ready to roll.
Too easy. Oh yeah, and I did remember seeing that these are higher. These three are the only ones, right? That are higher.
In that one.
And that one.
There's 4 long bolts on an RX8.
Yeah. Okay. Instead of just one on the RX-7.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I guess I need to get another one mapped with the RX-8 one on this side.
Yeah. You just do the same pattern. There is an extra bolt in here somewhere, but yeah.
That's funny.
And then they don't have Mazda M's on them. They actually have little dots.
So, the seal.
Wherever they are. The seal, which seal? Oh, the O-ring for the,
The
stag
O-ring,
gear?
yeah.
Yes, right here. So this will go in this groove back here. Got to hook it on that little pin.
So we almost built an RX-8, Gabe. You know?
Well, you pretty much have. So see that seal right there? That sits in there.
Okay.
And then the stack gear goes in there on top of that.
Okay, so are the ones that are longer have that?
Yes, yeah, those are
Okay.
the long ones, yep.
We gotta get them
The little
down.
dot.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, you'll know they're like a good chunk longer. They won't go in
Okay.
anywhere else. Do you put it? Are you just putting like that green goop on these when you put them together? You don't put anything on them?
Nope,
Okay.
nothing.
I normally like put them in a little bucket of oil.
Are these brand new?
Yeah.
Okay, no, we're good then.
Yeah. Just to lube them up.
The only time I put silicone on there, and I don't even have to because I've done it without, is when I make actual like when I get it studded.
Yeah.
I'll put like a little bit of silicone on there and just drive
Okay.
it through and be all right.
Nice. Yeah, I always just like put a little oil on each one of the rubber washers just to help it with like sliding on. Making sure everything goes smooth, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'll talk smack, but my grandpa always says you got to know about junk to call it junk. You know what I mean? If you don't know about it, you got no reason to talk about it.
I like that. You
So-
gotta know about junk to call it junk.
Yeah, exactly.
Man,
So I
that's
feel like if there's anybody on the planet that's allowed to say Renesis engine, RX8 or junk, it's probably me.
yeah.
You know?
You gotta know about junk to call it junk. I like that. That's on point.
Is that your torque wrench?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna go to 10, right?
Yeah. Interesting. I've never seen one of those.
Two. Yeah, I'm as many times as I've done this, I still look at this, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think it's the most useful tattoo I ever had. Yeah.
I
see
usually
the-
just start going from inside out. I'm just here to here to here to here to here to here to here. You know, you just work it.
I mean, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. Guess I can let you do this, but
Ah, you're good.
cap it off. Come on.
Look at that. Look, man, look at that.
Easy
Like a
peasy.
glove. Usually I tighten this to 17.
I tighten them too. Tight.
That's funny. Where's the rest? You got the rest of them? Put them on?
I'll just keep the one in there for now. All right, so this is always the moment of truth for me. How much force does it take to turn the engine over? Just because it verifies if we're all assembled correctly. So I know that might be a little bit new for Vlad here, but I'm excited to see it. Excited to see the number. Should be less than 20 foot-pounds is the goal to spin.
There it is.
Nice. Spinning over at what, 11, 12?
11.
Nice.
11.
Huge win. So we know we're good.
Yeah. Everything's in there's where it needs to be.
Yep.
You know,
Rad.
we just learned how to do this right now on YouTube.
Yeah, I know.
So we're
This is
good.
our first time ever building a rotary engine ever.
First time.
All right, well, the hybrid is built. I'm stoked. I really can't thank Vlad enough for letting me come out here and bug him for the day.
Oh, man.
I know
an
we
honor.
both definitely learned some stuff from each other.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked to let this thing rip and run. So, what was the highlight so far of today?
Man, all of it was a highlight.
Yeah?
You know, first time messing with the Renesis engine, even though it's a hybrid, you know, and learning about the rotors a little bit, the differences, especially those side seals, man. I just can't get over that.
Yeah.
The angle on those things kind of tripped me out. So I'm gonna do some homework on that.
Yeah.
But all of it's a highlight, man. You know, having here and getting to spend some time with you and get to know you, and you know, the like-mindedness of the weird people in the rotary world. You know, it's always good.
Oh,
It's
yeah, for
always
sure.
good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I really appreciate it because it's one of those where, like, in the rotary world, a lot of stuff is like, you know, gate kept. People keep their secrets, and you know, for me, like, and when I met you at Deals Gap, you know, the thing that we both are is like we like to share the information, you know, and like get other people doing this stuff because there's not a lot of trustworthy shops, not a lot of people you can take any import car to, not just rotaries anymore. You know, it's hard to find fabricators, it's hard to find good engine builders these days. So, you know, we're trying to transition some of that info to you guys so you can do this yourself.
Yeah,
you know?
that's my main goal, is always empowering people, no matter what. Like they say, leaders create leaders, right?
Exactly.
Like, and if you start gatekeeping, I don't want to tell people about this, then you're not helping this.
Yep.
This is what we love,
For
right?
sure.
And if we're keeping that, we're not moving forward. So
Exactly.
I've always told people, and some people kind of get mad at me a lot of times, but I'm like, I feel like the Hondas made it to the I've said this for a long time. Honda's made it to the 5 second mark on the quarter mile because that generation shares information.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like they all share information. You know what they're running, what they have. You know, parts are there. And the rotary world, everything's been gate kept, right? So how can we move forward if we're not sharing information and growing?
Exactly.
And so here we are now. We're gonna get to the 5 seconds at some point soon. But
I don't know that this thing will do it, the old hybrid Renesis, but we're gonna try our best. So with that, guys, definitely go check out. I think Impale. I didn't even ask you. What's the impaler part?
Oh, I'll explain that.
Yeah.
So my first name is Vladimir.
Okay.
You know, for a Puerto Rican to have such a European name, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. So I couldn't spell it to the 3rd grade, but that's beside the point. And anywhere you go, whenever I tell them my name's Vladimir, the first thing that they related to is Dracula.
Yeah.
Oh, like Dracula, the vampire. And I was like, yeah, like Dracula. So. And the first thing, oh, Vlad the Impaler. I was like, yes, like that. So when I made the I was like, man, what am I going to name it?
Yeah.
And then name's Vlad, so Vlad the Impaler. And it just kind of stuck.
That's literally super rad. That's a good story.
Yeah, man. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
You don't, there's very little Puerto Rican Vladimirs out there.
For sure.
You know, especially with the last name Gonzalez. It's like, wait a minute.
Well, that's perfect. Vladimir Gonzalez on Facebook.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
Impaler Vlad on TikTok,
Yeah,
right?
man. Yep.
And then do you have like a website where you sell t-shirts and stuff? or just-
It's on the Facebook.
Okay.
You know, it's on the Facebook. I'm not
Cool.
a big seller, but yeah, it's on there.
Awesome.
That and TikTok is Impaler Vlad. Instagram is Crossfire78 with
Okay.
X. And Facebook, basically, where I do most of my content now.
Rad.
Yeah.
Cool. So definitely go learn some stuff and
Yeah. It's in Spanish.
check it
Most of
out.
it is in Spanish because most of my followers on Facebook are Spanish.
Yeah.
I try to do a lot of English on TikTok, and then Instagram is kind of like my melting pot for
Sure.
everybody because I want everyone to learn. But, you know, you got to educate the competition one way or another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I enjoy trying to read the subtitles too. We kind of talked about it off camera that the subtitles aren't exactly right, but it's still fun. It's like, it's like a challenge because like I know what's going on, like what you're doing, and then trying to figure out the context clues, like what you're saying, it's always a good time.
Yeah.
So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, live life you don't need a vacation from and keep it rad.
Yeah.
Dope. Thank you so much, seriously,
Man.
for coming out.
I love it.
It's cool
I'm
to see
glad.
this thing here and see it together finally.
I'm glad that you allowed me to take part in that. You know,
Yeah.
and like everything you do, like you do for growth. No matter what you do, it's for growth, right? You know, so another. But like he, I didn't know about you until he mentioned you.
Okay.
I didn't know about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's how I fixed my window on my door.
Yeah.
I watched one of your videos.
Okay.
I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, check this guy. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And same thing with Rob Dom. I didn't know who Rob Dom was. So he mentioned Rob Dom.
Yeah.
I was like, and he was telling me the story. I was like, I don't know that guy.
Yeah.
I know Nelson Gallito. You know, I saw
Yeah.
Betún. I know my people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was a whole different ball game coming to that side.
Yeah.
And he was the one that kind of was like, hey, man, and rap potential. And I was like, oh. And then I started watching YouTube, and I was like, he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I said earlier, you got to break a lot of stuff to know about it.
Yeah.
You know, like, we broke a lot of engines. So,
Yeah.
but we share it with you guys. So,
Yeah.
peace, guys.